Nevada, the great silver state and the gold. New tales of Nevada, the stories, people working hard to make a home. Old Tales of Nevada.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Glad to have you with us this week. As we have been saying over the last couple of weeks, it's the 150th anniversary of Reno, and we've got more information, and we've got the man to talk about it today. So stay tuned. We'll be back on Old Tales of Nevada right after this.
Hi, I'm David Bobzien, Reno City Council member. For the past year, we've been celebrating Reno's 150th birthday. We've had event after event since last May, featuring and honoring our history, our culture, our art. For the final event, join us on Wednesday, May 9th, right here at Greater Nevada Field, for a free baseball game as we watch the Reno Aces take on the Albuquerque Isotopes. For more information, visit us at reno.gov/Reno150.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Welcome, everybody, to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show, and with me today, as usual, Roy Marshall, our executive producer, and our special guest today, welcome back, is David Bobzien, City Council member and the ramrod behind the 150th anniversary, right?
Yeah, good to be back.
Good to have you back, David.
Ramrod, I guess that would be one way to
That's
put it.
well, somebody's got to do it, right? Sure. Somebody's got to do it. Some of the greatest events that happened in Reno started with somebody like you, who said, we got to do this, and started putting it together and built the enthusiasm for it. So we're glad to have you back.
Congratulations. Yeah, you did do it.
It's been a fun project. I got to say sesquicentennial many times.
Sesquicentennial.
I'm very good at it. I've been coaching everyone else. And no, this has been a really fun project.
Yeah, we had to learn how to do that a year or two ago with the state of Nevada.
That's right.
State of Nevada.
Yeah, that was the strangest word I ever heard. It took me a while to master that one. But a lot of words I have to, have a challenge with.
Use them over and over again.
So, how you been, David? I mean, it's been a year. You don't look too worse for wear. I think you had a beard last time I saw you.
Very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible. I had one through the winter, but now that spring is out and the temperatures are warming up, things are happening in Reno. And
things are happening in Reno.
A lot is going on.
Oh, it's just amazing. A few years ago, everything was empty, storefronts, because of the turn down in the economy there. And now it seems like every empty lot, they're building something.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And the housing in the south part of town is just unbelievable. And are you in the middle of all of that kind of thing that goes on?
Very much so. That's the daily. That's the daily grind. We with all of the resurgence in the economy and all the optimism that everyone has comes a lot of challenges and a lot of issues our way. So it's dealing with that on a daily basis. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. But it's done well. I mean, the architecture that is going up and the businesses that are coming to town are just adding to the greatness of Reno, I think.
They're all new subdivisions, all new buildings, everything should last for a long time.
So it's a wonderful thing. So how long have you been on that council? You were in the state assembly, first of all, weren't you?
I was in the state assembly representing sort of downtown Reno and northwest and southwest up at the university, et cetera, for a number of years. And then at the end of 2014, was appointed to the council to fill the vacancy that Mayor Sheevy had left behind when she was elected that fall.
Right.
And then I was on on the ballot in 2016, and very grateful to have been elected by my neighbors in the city.
There you go, by a landslide, right?
Yes.
By a landslide.
So it's great. So 2 years into this full term, doing this work, and you're right, it's exciting. There's definitely a lot of challenges. It's hard work, but these are good problems to have.
I would imagine you don't get much sleep these days, because of being a city council member, you're probably, unless you control it somehow, there's always somebody who wants to get your ear.
Well, it's always happening, but I think my kids probably have more demands on my sleep than the work does. But you're right. But that's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of the best conversations I have with constituents is when I go grocery shopping, right? So it's you're right. You're always working.
Yeah. Do you have a regular job besides being a?
I do some nonprofit consulting work just to kind of keep the knives sharp and stay focused on the rest of the world. But this is a job that it's not just the every other Wednesday that we have the day-long meetings.
Yeah.
We have the different boards and commissions on which we serve. Currently, I'm chairing the regional planning governing board. So that's Sparks, Washoe County, and Reno coming together to update our regional plan, which is very important.
Sure, absolutely.
Growth and development.
Yeah, because of all that growth, the roads. I mean, it's starting to look a little bit like Vegas down on Virginia Street now.
I don't want to go that far. I think
it's turning into a parking lot.
Much more happy about living here than ever possible.
Oh, well, I agree with you 100%. We love Reno, and that's why we do the show, actually, because we want people to really know what the history is of Reno.
Yeah.
And of course, the city council, a big part of the history of Reno, past, present, and future. Because what you guys decide and what you spend money on either makes it better or makes it worse.
Oh, that's true.
And I guess we have to say that over the years, the batting average has been pretty good because Reno is a well thought of city outside of the state.
I'm kind of curious as to what are the limiting factors. Do you think the width of the basin here and the length of the area?
The geography, I think.
Of course, it's already over to Fernley and then out to
I mean,
more subdivisions.
And time will tell, right? I mean, I think long after I've left the council, you're right. You'll see sort of how things go. Geography plays a big part of it. We do have our constraints living in this valley the way
Still
that we do.
Still plenty of water.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're going to be bumping up against a lot of these things. We have these challenges related to, say, sewer capacity, right? All of our treatment facilities. That's very expensive. It's capital intensive. So we have to work on that. There's questions about our tax structure, whether or not we can handle, even with the new growth, giving back out the services that people expect, whether it's police, fire, parks, schools, what have you. So those are the challenges that we deal with on a daily basis, even in this upswing.
We kind of watched Story County deal with with Lance and their group out there with all those big buildings.
Oh yeah, that Story County is going to be the richest county in the world here pretty soon. The way they're bringing these companies in, but city council form of government has been what Reno has dealt with since the beginning, right? David, in fact, what was the first city council? It had to go back. Did it happen in 1868? Because that was the origination.
No,
of
it was much after that. And I think it is important to remember that the actual incorporation date is later, many years later. But the 1868 relating back to certainly Myron Lake and Lakes Crossing and sort of putting down roots right there when that settlement happened. So that's what we're marking with the Reno 150.
Right, that's when it got its name. Right, it went from Lake Crossing to Reno.
Right, and I believe I just learned that it was because Lakes Crossing was too long of a name to put on a railroad ticket. So that's a great nod to the railroad history that we have.
Absolutely,
as a community, and it's great if you think about these different chapters of our history. The fact that we were a stop on the railroad and the importance nationally at that time. And here we are now with all of our logistics and warehousing and shipping and the growth that we have there. It's because of that location. Location.
We learned last week or the week before, the show hasn't aired yet. I think it's going to air soon. But we were down at the Railroad Museum in Carson City, and the actual Golden Spike that was taken to Promontory Summit, not Point, it's actually a summit where they did it, was done and came from the Comstock.
From the Comstock, yeah.
From the Comstock.
Yeah,
and it was put on this particular railroad car that we were sitting in front of in Carson City and taken to Utah. So, Reno's always been in the middle of stuff. It's
That's right.
A lot of good things.
I didn't tell you, but I have 3 of those.
You have 3 of those golden spike?
No, 2 silver ones and 1 gold one.
Really?
From them when they did that.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, that was I have them up in the Savage.
Yeah. Well, we're focusing in today about the 150th birthday of Reno. And with our last show, we had Jesse Reno on. We had to make a special appearance, came out of retirement to speak with us.
Hard invitation to turn down.
That's right. So that show is going to be airing before your show. So he told us a lot about the history of Reno, a lot about himself. He was quite an accomplished general, actually. He was in the Civil War, Mexican-American War, so well thought of man. Soldier, they described him as in the history book, and he said that himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
That he was a soldier. And he was shot by a rookie Union soldier. That's how he died, actually. Yeah. And he even said he was going to die 5 minutes before he died. He didn't look like he was going to die, but he knew he was going to die.
Yeah, he was going to die. Yeah.
He knew more than the doctors did.
That was pretty good.
So anyway, a lot of great history to focus on and to be happy about. And so you saw that as a very important part of Reno, and that it needed to be celebrated. So where did you get the great idea? Where did all this creativity come from? Were you like a lone voice in the forest there?
Oh, hardly. No, I think, and you mentioned it, I mean, we had all become very familiar with Sesquicentennial coming off of the Nevada celebration.
Right. So Hillary probably really wanted to do it, didn't she?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a natural that, hey, we got one of these coming up in Reno a few years later, let's get going on this now. Yeah. And so, I mean, everyone was very quickly.
Because even on the city council, I would imagine we have people there who weren't in Reno for a very long time, and were naive about the history of Reno. Yeah. So I was wondering if it was well known that we're at 150 years.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have a little bit of education to do, but I mean, amazingly in the community, meanwhile, here comes the soccer team, and they had already picked 1868 as their name, so that was a clear example. And the cool thing about that was that had been a public vote, right? Yeah. So the organization had put out these different names and ideas to the public, and so there was you saw in that
interest,
the public in Reno saying, "Oh, this is definitely something we want to be able to honor with the name." So it's I think ultimately what for me the motivation was recognizing how much change is happening in Reno, and that with that change, it's really just the next chapter. Yeah. Reno has always been inventing itself and reinventing itself. Yeah, and you think of all of the, from the mining history to the divorce history to the gaming history, all of these different periods of time, we're always reinventing ourselves, and we're always kind of striving for that next chapter. So that's what this is all about.
Curious to know what your thoughts are about the next generation of Reno. What? Don't tell me yet, because I want it to happen in the next segment. But yeah, you're right. We have reinvented ourselves a number of times, and it seems like we're reinventing ourselves now. And I'd like to know what you think it's going to be. What is it that we're going to be known for next?
Well, I tell you, there's probably no other way for me to answer that question than to think about my kids. Yeah, I have 2 boys that are turning 10 later this year. I have a daughter that's about to turn 2, and so I'm certainly motivated by questions of what kind of a Reno are they going to inherit?
It's the millennials.
What opportunities are they going to have? And
let's hold that thought.
All the families across Reno, that's what they think about.
Good. So let's talk about that when we come back on our next break here on Old Tales in Nevada, past and present. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop, located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Somewhere in Time is a place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected. High-end die-cast models, vintage and antique furniture, Fenton glassware, kerosene lamps, toy trains, vintage neon, a new home decor selection, brothel and casino memorabilia, jewelry creations, and cameras in large collections throughout the store. Bring the family and find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on Virginia Street in Reno.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must. The newest color block and soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets. Exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
We're back here in Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We're talking with our special guest, David Bobzian, our city council member, and the creative mind that decided we better do something about our 150th birthday here in Reno, Nevada. And we're glad to have you on the show again.
Yeah, most
David,
definitely.
you're a lot of fun to talk to because you have a creative mind and you can see things that need to be done here in Reno, and that's probably why you got elected, I suppose.
Hopefully.
Young and fresh. Young and
fresh and energetic, all that good stuff. But we were talking in our last segment how we reinvented ourselves over the years. From 1868, we had all these different generations of business and ideas that have just continued to make Reno a better and better place. And so here we are in 2018.
Right.
What is 2030 going to look like? I mean, where's it going? Where's the movers and shakers taking Reno these days?
Well, I think for all of the coverage in the news about Tesla and the things that are happening out in Story County, the reality is that we just have this new wave of entrepreneurism even here in Reno.
Uh-huh.
So, more and more businesses being started around innovation, technology, autonomous vehicles,
David,
all sorts of
technology. Do you think that the railroads could be a factor in the future around the area to do it sort of that way? Maybe
I believe so.
Of all the highways and traffic and stuff.
Yeah, I think ultimately we're going to have a turnaround to recognizing the rail infrastructure has a role to play in transit. Up into the North Valleys, for instance. Certainly, there's a lot of conversations I've had with folks that are out at the site in Story County that they want to be able to see that as a way to move people back and forth.
A lot of people like railroads, right?
Oh, yeah.
They don't mind the railroad.
Yeah, those, what do they call it? Like Sacramento has their, over-the-top railroad. I forget what they call it. But I'm glad you said technology, because that's what I see happening, is that Reno is going to regenerate itself and have a new reputation as a huge technology center. Don't you think?
Yeah, and I think it's in our plan and our partnerships, for instance, with the university. That's definitely a direction that we want to highlight and head toward. And so I mentioned earlier, kids and what they're going to be looking at. I mean, my two sons they've got robotics programs in their schools, and I already can see that they're going to far exceed anything that I know how to do technology-wise, and I have worked in technology, so it's exciting. And my hope is that, the decisions that all of us are making, whether you're in government, business, education, what have you, it's going to be focused on what kind of a world do we want our kids, what kind of Reno do we want
for our
kids.
So what we're going to do is archive this show like we do with all our other shows at the Historical Society, and we're going to check back in about 50 years from now to see if we were right. We might have you back on the show.
Okay.
You might be in a walker.
Let's put it on the calendar now.
That's right. Because I don't want you busy. I want you back. Okay. Like Jesse came back, after retirement. So anyway, let's talk about this great celebration. It's going to happen what day?
May 9th, Wednesday.
May 9th. Okay.
Coming up real soon.
Yeah, for sure.
It is first and foremost, it's a free baseball game. It's a free baseball game.
Oh, I did not know
if
that.
You love baseball as much as I do.
Good to advertise a free baseball
that
game.
alone should get you down there. But no, we're starting off 4 o'clock at Nevada Field with celebration, number of booths, highlighting the history. Our Reno people, they'll all be invited to come. They've been invited to come back and join us, the ones that are with us.
Okay.
And then gates open at 5. You do have to get a ticket.
Oh.
It's a free ticket.
Okay.
But you do have to get the ticket. And I'll do just a quick list and I want to thank the folks that have the tickets.
Yeah.
The Children's Cabinet, El Dorado Resorts. You can go at the show ticket desk and get your ticket there. Silver Legacy, same thing. Harris Reno, Nevada Humane Society, SPCA of Northern Nevada, Western Nevada Supply Showroom, located in Sparks. So we've got Sparks getting in on the action.
Right, super.
But we appreciate their assistance with this.
Sure.
We've also got sponsor organizations: Edon, El Dorado Resorts, Fenimore Craig, the law firm Harris Reno, Metcalf Builders, MV Energy, Washoe County, Western Nevada Supply.
Wonderful.
So it'll be a great evening. Again, the baseball game.
Yeah.
What's really fun is that we have a local graphic designer that's been commissioned to do a special Reno 150 Aces baseball jersey. So I'm excited about this. That's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, it'll be a collector's item.
Yeah,
sure.
Yep, for sure. And then cupcakes. Don't forget cupcakes. Birthday cupcakes.
All right, good. So you'll have all these vendors there. Are they going to have food and historical displays and things like that? Right. Both individually and corporately, they'll be there? Okay, cool. So do you have a theme? I mean, it's the 150th birthday.
We saw that flag that you guys made up that was on the
We could talk about the flag. Yeah, we could do a whole other show about the flag. So we
I don't know if I saw it.
we won't be ready with the actual flag for this event. We still have some other some details to take care of with that before we can produce it.
I thought it was pretty
and that's for the 150th?
With a star and then with a mountain scene. That was pretty nice.
So we have our new Reno flag.
Okay.
And it's great that we were able to adopt it during the 150th.
Oh, okay. It's just alongside
a flag.
Okay.
We could copy that pretty easy on our coin.
There you go.
So now, are you going to have, for example, Jesse Reno? Is he going to be there? And
I need to check.
You need
see if the schedule is going to
see if he has time.
Yeah.
And then all of the ones from the Comstock, McKay and Fair, and those kind of folks. How about Myron? Is he going to be back? Myron Lake?
I don't know. Hopefully, we'll have to.
Because that would be actually really great for people to meet and greet and get autographs.
Yeah, for sure.
That would make it really.
Wouldn't it make it fun? Yeah.
Characters.
Yeah. And then you're going to have presentations there, right? I suppose.
We're going to have still working on some of the program, but yes, we'll have. Well, and part of it is we're going to be recognizing the final round of the Reno people.
Yeah. Tell us what that is, because that's a pretty neat project.
Yeah, and that's been a fun one to do. In that recognizing from nominations coming from the community, 150 people in Reno's history and all the way to modern times that have made contributions to the city, whether it was business, the arts, whether it was government, etc. So we've had a number, and what's really been exciting is that if the person is no longer living and no longer with us, in many cases we've been able to track down family members.
Oh, nice.
And present awards to the family members.
Sure.
So that's been personally rewarding for me, is to meet all these people that are connected to Reno's very real history. That's been a lot of fun.
Well, a lot of our shows focus on those kind of individuals. Whether it be political or entrepreneurs or nonprofits.
Like Norm Diana, for example, who just built everything in the area. It looks like
anybody who brings us pride to Nevada, we want to talk to them.
Sure,
that's our goal. And if they got a historical aspect to it, it's even better. But so many things you could do on an anniversary. You're going to have a parade too, or
I'm not sure if we've got a parade with this one. But
okay.
We had, for all of our different Reno 150 events, we knew early on, because we didn't have a lot of money to spend on this, nor did we want to spend a lot of money on this. It was more a matter of connecting with the existing events that make Reno wonderful.
Sure.
And so one of our Reno 150 events was the Veterans Day Parade this last year.
Okay, so you tied into
So
that.
we had a tie there. We were able to honor some of the Reno people at the Veterans Day Parade.
Okay, good.
So we connected with Art Town. We had a recognition of Reno people at Art Town. We just did one recently at Earth Day.
Okay.
So recognizing just all of the wonderful events that we have in Reno already, and just incorporating a tie into that.
What would have been neat? What would have been neat was to have a parade from the old Riverside, across the bridge, which was originally the crossing, and then over to the ball field.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's what's fun is before we talked about the soccer team. Before the soccer games, the Battleborn Brigade. That's what they do.
Gone to a soccer.
That's a lot of fun. That's what they do, and they do those parades. So they'll meet on the plaza in front of City Hall.
All right.
And they'll do
drums and everything, and they'll get a police escort, and they'll walk down the street. And,
that's cool.
Right to the stadium.
I did not know that. I'm not a soccer fan.
That's the common response that everyone has. But go and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
school.
It's very different from
rodeo's
baseball.
got a parade.
The rodeo.
And then the rodeo.
Yeah, rodeo.
Yeah,
Sure. There's
They
lots
got
of parades,
parade,
but no, I'm a golfer. That's why I'm wearing my Masters jacket. It's illusional, I dream about the green jacket, so I finally bought one.
Gotta have goals.
So
It might bring you luck. You never know.
You never know. I'll take whatever I can get. So now is the celebration on May 9th. You say it's free, and there's going to be all kinds of activities there, presentations, and then from there on, is that the end of it, or
that is the culmination?
So after
Reno 150
May 9th, you're on your own, and we're marching
done.
towards. What's the next 100th year celebration going to be? What do you call that?
I don't know.
It's not the
Probably 175, maybe.
The 175. We'll figure out the term for that. We'll get a little closer to it.
Yeah. So how many people now do you have on the city council?
So the council is actually 7, but that's 6 council members plus the mayor. So when you think of the mayor, and it's still a little different from Sparks, when you think of our council, the mayor is a voting member of the council along with the other council members. So we have the 5 wards, and then we have a 6th member of the council, myself, and the at-large.
Oh, you're the at-large guy.
And then the mayor. And
so you cover the entire...
That's right. That's right. And I like to think of it as I'm the backup council member. So if there's an issue with the ward, the barking dog, the pothole, etc. The ward person will generally be the person to deal with it. But I try to find other ways to chip in and help with those other local issues.
Talking about the 150th and the city council combined, Reno, in some of the neighborhoods, I noticed since the downturn. There was a lot of neighborhoods that were quite nice, very well kept. And then after the downturn, because of repos and short sales and one thing or another, a lot of the properties went downhill. And even now, when I drive around different neighborhoods that used to be nice, it's very spotty.
Yeah.
Very spotty. And some of them have weeds growing, and I don't know if it's influx of people from other parts of the world that don't see the need to maintain their yards and so on, or if it's just derelict homes. I don't know what it is, but I want to ask you what you're doing about that when we come back from the break. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be back with more Old Tales Nevada, past and present.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must, the newest color block in soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets. Exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Hi, I'm Chris from Past Time at Somewhere in Time. Are you looking for that one-of-a-kind gift that you can't find in the big department store? I have something for all occasions. Got stuff? Need to know whether or not it has value or how to sell it? We can help with that too. Come and see me Tuesday or Wednesday at Pastime in Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street in Reno. Just ask for Chris.
Deluxe Travel, locally owned and operating since 1991, is the home for travel to Mexico and Central and South America. The crew at Deluxe Travel is bilingual, trustworthy, thorough, and caring. They will do everything possible to make your dream vacation the best it can be. Now is the time to book for winter travel, so stop by the office at 100 California Avenue or call 686-7000. You can also check us out on our website at deluxetravelLTD.com.
At Deluxe Travel, we sell dreams. Come in and plan yours.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Hi, I'm David Bobzine, Reno City Council member. For the past year, we've been celebrating Reno's 150th birthday. We've had event after event since last May, featuring and honoring our history, our culture, our art. For the final event, join us on Wednesday, May 9th, right here at Greater Nevada Field, for a free baseball game as we watch the Reno Aces take on the Albuquerque Isotopes. For more information, visit us at reno.gov/Reno150.
Welcome back to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Just to remind everybody who we are, I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. Next to me, Roy Marshall, our executive producer. And then we have David Bobzian, our city council member, who is on the hot seat today. We're a non-political
He's doing a great job.
show. We're not non-political show. We like to have politicians on, though, once in a while.
We're just old-timers is the problem.
To tell us about the good things you're doing. Because a lot of, I would imagine, being on the city council, you get a lot of questions that are rather divisive, and one person against another, and we're not that kind of show. We want to build pride in having people like you on our show, and letting us know the good things that you're up to and why you're so involved in the city, because you love the city. So, but as we left the last segment, I was just wondering about the situation since 2008. I'm thinking of some neighborhoods that used to be really nice, well cared for, nice yards, everything, green, pretty. And then, since then, because of the bankruptcies and abandoning of homes, other people have come in and they're not taking care of their yards. And there's weeds, and there's garbage, and derelict cars, and everything. And if you are someone who takes pride in your property, and then you have somebody like that or more than one in your neighborhood, that can destroy your value of your home. Right, so here's my question: is there any conversation about ordinances or programs that would go into these neighborhoods and say, "Hey, Mr. Homeowner, you need to get on the ball and fix this, and here's the deadline"?
Yes. First off, Reno Direct. If someone has a complaint and you're talking about weeds or overgrown properties or trash or abandoned vehicles, you contact Reno Direct, and we have code enforcement. We have code enforcement officers. Citations can be issued, and that happens.
Do they really react to your phone call?
And they stay very busy.
Yeah, because I know of homes for years that are still the same. I've been in the same place for 3 years, and those homes I'm talking about.
Call it in, and then once you call it in and once it's a record, sometimes what it does take just to monitor it is the council member for that ward that's a lot of their work. They will kind of check in and
what you're looking for is CC&Rs designated by the city of Reno regarding a specific
if it's a homeowners association, it's a
whole
different
ballgame
situation.
Yeah,
but I think
bring them together and put them with the city.
The bigger picture, though, you're right. I mean, I was in the old Northwest during the crash, and it was almost this overnight thing where all of a sudden, oh my gosh, here come all the foreclosures and the vacancies, and you could definitely see it was tangible just how much of a decline there was in sort of the condition of all the properties. I think a lot of it is corrected. We're starting to come out of that because the housing market coming up, but we recognize that those issues are still there. So I mentioned code enforcement, the street level kind of stuff that we do, but we also have this ongoing effort with the legislature because so much of what we can and can't do as a city government is dependent on what gets decided in Carson City.
Oh, really?
We go back to the legislature constantly to try to tweak and get new tools in our toolbox to be able to fine owners. A lot of the time, if it's a bank that's a bank-owned property, or we can't find the owner because it's somebody over in California that this is just an investment property that they turned to it turned out. So it is a big part of what we are.
Good, because I'm thinking of the 150th anniversary of Reno, and Reno has always had a nice reputation for its neighborhoods.
Yeah,
and the way we take care of the trees we plant. We take care of the landscapes, all that kind of thing. And I just don't see it at that same level right now, and it needs to be thought about so that it can be brought back up to standard so that we can be here 50 years from now and not be ashamed of the neighborhoods that we live in.
That's a good point.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you think that way.
Some help may come from the university, too. You never know, for cleaning up the river and stuff. Neil Cobb had that,
the Truckee Meadows.
Clean the river program every year.
Yeah, keep Truckee
Meadows beautiful.
Yeah, that's a great organization. They work really hard, too.
I worked with Neil a number of years ago on anti-dumping legislation. To try to go out for dumps. And I tell you what, I came across one up in the Northwest on New Year's Day this year. And it was like, here I was, starting 2018, everything's going great, and I'm walking along, and oh my gosh, what is this?
Well, that's what makes Reno so appetizing for people to move here, because when they come, they're living in California, and you got the homeless all over the areas and just throwing garbage everywhere. People don't want to live there anymore. They want to move to a place that they feel safe and looks nice and secure, and I think Reno has that kind of reputation.
Well, I think a lot of that starts with community pride.
Yeah, community pride, absolutely.
And we've had some good outfits. Reno Gospel Mission used to go around and pick up the bums and take them back over to the place. And
there's a lot of great nonprofits that work
it. Soup kitchen down there, and
so many things to consider and to work on to keep Reno prosperous and successful for the future, so we have a great history to look back on in 50 years.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. What is your when you're sitting on the city council? If you had to go there with your top priority, what would it be?
It is making sure that the prosperity that is accumulating and with all of the successes that are happening, it's making sure that next generation of our kids, of our city, have the same opportunity and can plug into all of that. I want to make sure that, the jobs that are coming are jobs that, our kids are ready for and they can slip right into so that they can pick up the baton when we're done.
Very important.
That's great.
Very important.
So that's for future. That's great. Now, what about as far as historically, what do you work on historically speaking as a city council member to make sure that our great history maintains and that people can find it when they want to see it?
Sure. Well, and that's a complicated set of issues right now, just because of all the development pressures. One of the things that I do on the council is I serve as the liaison to the Historical Resources Commission. So I know that they have a lot of challenges and things that they're looking at. Certainly the Reno 150 program was a big part of it. But there is something to be said for our history is so unique. Some of it is going to be, in terms of buildings and the built environment, is going to change. But my hope is that enough decisions are made and enough people understand as they're doing development and as they're making investments that we need to honor and preserve and perpetuate a lot of what made this town a great place to live. A unique place in which to live. And so, as for instance, we're talking with staff right now about bringing in an outside organization to do a full inventory of our downtown area to really catalog what the historical structures are and do it in such a way that it's it's of a benefit to the development community. The ones in particular that are willing and are eager and are creative to take those spaces and turn them into new businesses.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's where I think the real opportunities are.
Yeah, I think that's really a great idea, because I look on 4th Street, for example, 4th Street West, right, from Virginia going towards Sparks there. There are a lot of historical buildings there. Now, a developer would probably come in and say, I'm just going to tear it down. In fact, going on the other side, there is a developer who's trying to put in a big project there. And he's thinking about tearing things down and moving people out and so on. But other cities have, like old Sacramento, and they have old San Diego, and they keep those old buildings and they make it into a kind of a tourist attraction as well as historical site. Has any thought gone into that, like for 4th Street or anything?
Well, and a lot of that does come down to the property ownership and what property owners are willing to do. I do think that we've got some great examples that have already happened. If you look at the block right by Pine Street, State Street, and Center Street, where the new Patagonia store has gone into an historic building. There's the coffee shop that's right next door. There's another building that's been repurposed as apartments.
Super.
Certainly we saw that with the King's Inn, which is interesting. So my hope is that the more developers and development that we see that shows that model proves out that you can do that, that'll get even more excited. Yeah. More excited to do that.
And then Midtown is another great success.
Midtown's a great example of it.
Yeah, I think so. So I get the idea from what I just see from the news and everything is that as a master plan, you're trying to bring a lot more residential type activity into the downtown, which causes less traffic and people can walk to the stores. Like, in San Francisco, you have your neighborhoods and people eat there and blah, blah, blah. So is that kind of your thinking?
Absolutely. The density is definitely going to be increasing. I think we're seeing that. You're going to start seeing that very soon on the Park Lane site as they start to go vertical.
Definitely.
The first building release that they're talking about is 4 or 5 stories high.
Really?
And so you're seeing more and more of those kind of block by block on a small scale now. But it's there and it's happening.
And people have the money to do it.
And it's going up. And so, that will be a big change, I think, for folks that have lived in Reno for a long time.
Are you finding, there's got to be, Reno has to be very appetizing towards developers, I think, for developers, because I see these guys coming in and they're putting up these humongous apartment complexes like on Steamboat and what's that, Steamboat and the Veterans. That corner there. It's just amazing how many apartment buildings. That's one project, But I see the over there by the Harris Mansion,
the Ranchera.
I mean, they're spending muco bucks.
That's happening. There's
Park
another
Lane
one out on Charlins, past Mayan, out in the Northwest. That's a big development that's happening. I think it's appetizing because there's such a demand. I mean, if you look at our housing market and the rental rates and the vacancy rates, I mean, there's demand. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of it.
Well, that brings up even another question, because Reno has always been known for reasonable housing prices, reasonable rents. And I'm hearing from people who rent apartments nowadays, and they're saying, "Wow, my rent went from $800 to $1,200." How's that going to work out for the population after a while? We won't be able to afford to live in Reno, right?
That is a fundamental challenge, and I think that's a big part of the master plan and the emphasis on density.
So you're working on that?
Is to say, hey, the housing product, the housing expectations that people have. There's a lot more people that now want dense, smaller, downtown, the quality of life through the restaurants.
Okay, let's take a break here. We'll come back with more Old Tales Nevada right after this.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop, located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first. Somewhere in Time is a place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected. High-end die-cast models, vintage and antique furniture, Fenton glassware, kerosene lamps, toy trains, vintage neon, a new home decor selection, brothel and casino memorabilia, jewelry creations, and cameras in large collections throughout the store. Bring the family and find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on Virginia Street in Reno.
Hi, I'm David Bobzine, Reno City Council member. For the past year, we've been celebrating Reno's 150th birthday. We've had event after event since last May, featuring and honoring our history, our culture, our art. For the final event, join us on Wednesday, May 9th, right here at Greater Nevada Field, for a free baseball game as we watch the Reno Aces take on the Albuquerque Isotopes. For more information, visit us at reno.gov/Reno150.
Deluxe Travel, locally owned and operating since 1991, is the home for travel to Mexico and Central and South America. The crew at Deluxe Travel is bilingual, trustworthy, thorough, and caring. They will do everything possible to make your dream vacation the best it can be. Now is the time to book for winter travel, so stop by the office at 100 California Avenue or call 686-7000. You can also check us out on our website at deluxetravelLTD.com.
At Deluxe Travel, we sell dreams. Come in and plan yours.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you. You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds.
All right, we're back here in our final segment of Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present. We're talking with David Bobzian, who is the man who put into motion this great celebration, the 150th anniversary of the establishment of Reno, Nevada. So we're so happy that you and your cohorts were able to put this together and have a great celebration on May 9th down at the ballpark, Reno Aces Ballpark, Greater Nevada Field, I guess is what they call it.
It was Greater Nevada Field.
So we're happy to have that all being done. And we've been talking about the future, actually, because we want our next 150 years to be as good as the last 150 years.
This is the time capsule show.
Time capsule. And that's why I've been asking these questions about properties, about business, and so on and so forth. A question I did have for you, though, is we have a lot of people moving in now.
Sure.
Because of all the business opportunities, right? Which creates challenges. We already talked about some of them. One thing is rentals and housing prices are skyrocketing. Right. Do you see that as a problem now? I mean, are we cutting some people out of the market because they can't afford to live here? And
it is absolutely a problem. Yeah, it is. And I mean, we've seen a little bit of a market correction, if you will, of late, but the core problems are still there, just in terms of the lack of inventory at this point. And so, you are seeing a lot of multifamily development, apartments going up, and so there is this catch-up that's happening. Right. But I think we're going to be dealing with these pressures, and families in our community are going to be dealing
because
with
wages aren't there.
Because the wages aren't going up as quickly as the cost of living, and so that is a problem. Yeah. And so I think it's a problem that the whole community is getting their head around and trying to figure out how they're going to solve it.
Now, here's the other question, because I hear this scuttlebutt around town,
Sure.
is because of all this new business, people are moving in from all over the country.
Yeah.
Many are coming over from the left coast over here, California, right, where they have absolutely everything provided to them by the government, for good or bad. And do you find, as these out-of-staters come in, that they expect Reno, which has always been kind of take care of yourself kind of a state, right? Free spirit kind of a state. Right. Do you see that they want more government involvement on different parts of our lives? And are you able to, battle against that in a pretty successful way?
I think it cuts both ways. I've certainly met folks that have come here from California or from other places that have all kinds of varied expectations about what they're going to get. I mean, you have to think there's just as many Californians that have left California and come to Nevada because they don't have those expectations, or they have their
They don't
own.
want those expectations.
They have they have a different set of expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think on the services, and this is a very practical issue and a pragmatic issue that we're all dealing with, and I think that whether you're in business or development, the Chamber of Commerce, everyone recognizes that the tax structure that we have right now on property taxes, we're the only state in the nation that has the depreciation scale. And so for the Californian in particular that comes over and purchases maybe a $700,000 home in the Old Southwest that was built in the 40s and has been rehabbed a bunch of times and may only be 2,000 square feet, they're paying pennies in property taxes compared to what newer construction is paying. And so we are always, even with the new construction, generating higher property tax revenue for the schools, for the cities, for the state, what have you. There's still going to be this lag that's going to be there. And so there are people in the legislature that are looking at how do we fix that, make it more equitable for everyone, so that everyone's paying.
Not get crazy though.
We're not going to be California. Maybe we're going to be Utah. I mean, it's the question of growth paying for itself.
Right.
That seems to be a principle that everybody wants. There's always going to be a certain amount of, you need police, you need the fire, you need some parks, you need some schools. You don't need gold-plated everything, but you need the basic levels. So.
Well, that's a great point you just mentioned, too. We don't need the Cadillac all the time, right?
Not at all.
We can get by with the Chevy. And it works just fine, right? Okay. And I think sometimes politicians tend to, it's not my money and I can spend it, and we'll just tax them some more and that'll take care of it. But we found out that doesn't work either. That's why we're in debt by $20 trillion, I guess.
Let me give you guys a small history lesson on myself.
All right.
My great-great-grandfather developed the first land from the government to build the first public school in the United States. His name was Ezekiel Cullen.
Okay.
He was from South Carolina. He was the governor there.
And he built it?
1871.
Did he use his own money, or was he using the state money?
No, from the Fed. It was started from the federal government. The first public school.
Really?
Yeah.
Ezekiel.
Wow,
how about that?
Yeah, he had those long, funny-looking
mustache
on the side.
Mutton chops or whatever they use. Something like that. Yeah. Well, we enjoy talking with you, David, because you're so open about what you're doing, and
thanks for bringing me back.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, I think most of the people that get into city government, like yourself, are really dedicated to doing the right thing. They're not in it. I mean, you know better. You know these people better than any of us do. But I don't think anybody's in there to get rich.
No.
Right? I mean, the hours you spend probably working for the betterment of Reno it doesn't even come close to what you're being compensated.
No, but it is incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
And you don't get to solve all the problems, but when you do get to solve some of them, and you do get to help people, and you can say that you are a part of something.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
It's rewarding. And
so do you have any other political ambitions?
No.
Or you're done. Because we want you to announce it here if you're running for senator.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. Or governor. I heard there's an open seat there as well. Mm-hmm. So do you have a lot of interaction with the with the feds at all? I mean, are you pretty much autonomous?
Not so much with the federal government. I mean, there's been some. I would say we have, and this is the great thing about this state is that we have ready access to, say, the governor, the legislature, and so it's been a joy to work with Governor Sandoval in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, I have relationships with Republicans and Democrats alike in the legislature. Working on just practical things that don't get the headlines, but they're really the important issues.
There's more of a camaraderie, you might say, amongst politicians.
There's a camaraderie. There's a recognition that we're all trying to figure this out together and do things that are good for our community. And I think that's one of the other great things about Nevada. That's not just for the elected officials. It's an incredibly accessible state.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you can and you should go meet your legislator. Go meet your city council person. You can't do that in California as easily, right? I mean, it's and that's the. And I always tell whether it's school kids or scout groups or what have you. Go to Carson City during the legislature.
Sure.
That is your building.
They need to
Come to City Hall. Come see us. I mean, I love being able to host Cub Scout groups and Boy Scout groups and the Girl Scouts to say, this is your government. Come in and see your place and get familiar with what goes on for you.
Yeah. So being a Nevadan for how long now?
21 years.
21 years. What do you do for fun? What do you take advantage of?
I do all kinds of things. And when we talk about what I want to see Reno be 50 years from now, outdoor recreation, whether it's being up at Lake Tahoe, being out in the desert, whether it's hunting or fishing. I'm a big runner. I love camping. I love camping with my family. I mean, it's all the outdoor stuff.
Place for it.
It's unbelievable.
And I don't want to ever lose that. I mean, that quality of life that so many people enjoy in Reno is so important in Nevada.
Yeah, isn't it neat to be able to drive outside of Reno and all of a sudden you're out there, you're in the wilderness almost.
Yep. And I love exploring every single corner of this state, and it's never ending.
We used to love to go out to Pyramid Lake. As primitive as it is, there's nothing better than to take a camper out there or even a tent, bring some wood with you and sit out on that beach when the canopy of stars comes over the top of you and just contemplate the universe, you know what I mean? And you don't have the city lights to contend with or anything like that. It's just gorgeous out there.
That's right.
And there's lots of places you can go to in Nevada and do that. You can't do that in California as easily.
You can't do it in Texas. I mean, there's plenty of other states that we've got public lands. They belong to us.
True.
And so it's the stuff that we get to do. Again, whether it's fishing or hunting for me, birds, chukar, sage grouse, or big game or what have you.
Hey, I got a question for you. This is because of my love of golf.
Okay.
I drive by Rosewood Golf Course over there on a fairly regular basis, and I see they reestablished the fence for the driving range. And the clubhouse is still intact.
Right.
And so what's happening with that? If you can tell us.
Stay tuned. We're still in various planning phases about what the future of the property is. I mean, certainly with the Southeast Connector that went through, it went through some big transition. Golf continues to be, I think, a challenge in the community in that, how do you have facilities for people who like to golf? But how do you pay for them? And how can they be self-supporting? There was definitely some correction that happened there. For instance, the old Northgate Golf Course up in the Northwest that closed down. But what's fun about that is that we're in the process of reinvigorating that as a park with hiking and biking trails and everything.
I see.
So the homeowners up there are excited to see something happen with that property rather than just letting it.
Now I heard Wall Creek. There's actually a suit against building that high school out there. So that may stay as a golf course.
We'll see. Yeah, that's another hot issue.
It's funny. When I was out there, there's always a lot of people playing.
Oh yeah.
It seems like it's well used, and then if they can make that a 9-holer at Rosewood. And have the driving range there. It'd be very close to my house.
Got it. Okay.
So see what you can do about that.
Constituent issue.
All right. Well, listen, we have to close our show, but thanks so much for coming, David. We appreciate it.
It's good to be back.
And we look forward to the 150th anniversary, and we look forward to the future of Reno and it maintaining and even getting better as time goes on, as we have talked about. So once you go back to City Council, tell them to keep working hard. Tell them we appreciate their hard work. And if they ever want to come on the show and be a star like you, that they're perfectly big welcome to do it.
Sounds good.
We want to thank
that team spirit in there with them, because that'll make it work for you.
Yeah, we want to thank you, Roy, for funding our show, Old Tales in Nevada.
Yep.
We want to thank the audience especially, who's been watching 280 episodes of Old Tales in Nevada every week, and we want to thank you for doing that and welcome you back for another show next week. And in the meantime, we want to wish you a great Nevada day, and we'll see you at the 150th anniversary on Old Tales in Nevada, past and present.